All right, girls. Y'all in for a treat today. We got a pretty great speaker that's come out to come talk to y'all. Before we get to her, I'll kind of set it up a little bit. I think that there's a few people that you meet in your life that just inspire you to do more. I think that there's a few people that you meet in your life that you want to surround yourself with, be around, encourage them, encourage you. Those people that are constantly seeking the goals and wanting the best not only for you but for themselves. And that's the type of thing that really helps take us to another level. As we all heard, iron sharpens iron, right? Okay, and I'm grateful for our speaker coming out to speak with us today, because I think that she's definitely an example of that. She's always been a fighter. She's always been a dreamer. She's always been someone that is a go-getter. And I think that she's a perfect person that can come speak to us and we can learn from, and she can learn from us, and we all grow together. She's called many names, but her most famous name now is Dr. K. But my favorite name to call her is my sister. So please welcome Kaillyn Lewis, and give her a big round of applause.
Hello, peoples. For y'all who don't know me, I am Dr. Kaillyn Lewis. It took forever for me to be able to say that. You guys don't know how long, and I'm still getting used to it. But that, like you said, Coach Scooter is my brother. Coach Al, Coach Jay, they're all family. I used to be a coach here last year and the year before. You guys, good to see y'all. But currently I am a chiropractor and soon to be clinical director of a chiropractic location in Katy. So just a little bit about me, kind of give you a background of why this lady talking to me, why she here, all those type of stuff, okay? So, as you know, if you know about Coach Scooter, I come from a basketball family. So literally from birth all the way up, I played basketball my whole life. My whole house was about basketball. It was always about basketball, everything, okay? Everything, they promoted you and all you did. Parents didn't take no breaks when it came to education, but everything, you were a basketball player, you were a hooper. That was your identity, right? Come about when I was a junior, senior in high school, I started to kind of realize hey, I don't know if I want to be a basketball player for life. Of course, I had multiple D1 offers. I was planning on going to TCU. I had an offer to play there. And I was like, that's cool, but I just am not as pumped about it, So, of course, went anyway, went for a couple months, realized being a student athlete was just not for me, which is A-okay. It's not for everybody. It's a really tough life. And so the point of why I say that is because I had to have a real serious moment where I had to look myself in the face and be like, girl, what you want to do? Okay? So I had to really sit down and think about what my strengths were, what my challenges were. How could I make my challenges better? How could I make my strengths stronger? Where could those things be used in the most effective position? And then so as Coach Scooter knows, my whole life, I've always been super passionate about caring for people, about health, about living. I'm always bossing and giving advice. Y'all know that. I'm always telling people what to do. So I really thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a doctor. Real life. I know it's so hard, all these things. People say you'll be in school for a decade. You're going to be in school anyway. You're going to be doing something anyway. So you might as well be called a doctor at the end of it. So after I sat down and had that kind of thought process for myself, I said, okay, this is a dream that I want. This is what I'm saying I want to do with the rest of my life. This is where I'm saying where I want to go, right? In order for me to get there, what do those steps look like? So that was another situation where I had to be real honest. I had to really sit down and think about my abilities and what I can and cannot do. I've always been good at science. I've always been good at writing. I've always been good at those things. But when it came to math, that wasn't really my strong suit, right? But in order to go to medical school, you do have to take statistics, you have to take calc, you have to take all those things, right? So as something that didn't come as easy for me, but I'm saying this is the dream that I want. This is the goal of where I want to go, okay? I had to really put in the work and put in the time for those things. If I knew that I had a certain amount of math or something to do and I had a certain amount of science, okay, if this comes easy to me, I'm gonna spend less time on this and spend more time on this. It's the same thing with basketball. There's so many things that I am grateful to have been able to learn as a basketball player that I implement in my everyday life. I know all these coaches here can attest. All the things that you learn when you're playing basketball, your mindset is on a daily basis. I was even talking the other day about when I'm working, I'm seeing patients, I'm like, okay, if I need to do this, if I'm not getting the points or something that I want, if I'm not getting the playing time or I'm not getting the amount of patience that I want, what can I do to make sure that I can get there? What can I do personally to develop myself to get there, okay? And I know it's very easy to kind of like be like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna spend 30 hours in the gym. But what are you doing with those 30 hours? Are you working on your strengths? Are you playing around? Are you laughing? Are you joking? Are you in there actually working on what can make you better? Are you actually in there asking questions, being attentive, being coachable? Not only letting other people give their opinions of yourself, but are you being honest to give your opinion? Because of course, your parents listen, your friends listen sometimes when it's appropriate, not every time. But the most important person who can tell you who you are and tell you what you can and cannot do is yourself. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. You know what you can and cannot do. Come on, everybody knows. Like, am I a break dancer? No, I know I can't do that. But am I gonna be a little delulu and think I can? Yes. But the most important person to know what you're capable of is yourself, but you gotta be honest. You gotta be like 100%. You don't have to tell people what you think. Like, if you're like, yo, I'm really not a three-point shooter like that, you don't have to tell people. What's the matter? But you know what you need to work on. You know, oh, this is what I need to focus on when I'm in the gym. I know if my left hand is a little suspect, what am I doing when I'm in the gym for 30 hours? You have to listen to yourself and be honest and not be afraid to learn and make mistakes. I think that's something I'm still even learning to this day. Because I feel like I felt like in the past, in order to get where I needed to be, I have to be perfect. And everything I do, I have to be perfect. In order to succeed, you have to be perfect. But that's not necessarily true. Because honestly, the way that most people got perfect was through making mistakes and through learning. And so in order to get to where you need to go, being right is great. Everybody loves to be right. Like, who doesn't like to be right? Who doesn't like to be that guy? You know what I'm talking about? Who doesn't like to be that person? But sometimes there's beauty in not being that person. Sometimes there's beauty in the grind. Sometimes there's beauty in the hustle. And I have a favorite slogan that I always tell people. Because I know y'all see, I got tattoos. My mom was like, why would you do that to yourself? You can do whatever you want to do in your life. You can do whatever you want to do. If I want to go be a singer, you can do whatever you want to do. But you have to be willing to accept the consequences. Consequences can be good and consequences can be bad. If I'm saying that I want to be a basketball player, I'm saying that I want to be a doctor, one of those consequences was a lot of the times I was in my room because I had to study when I was in college. A lot of the times I missed out on those fun events. I didn't go to homecoming and stuff like that. Those are the consequences of anything that I've chosen to do. If you're choosing to be a basketball player, you're choosing to do whatever you want to do in your life. If you're choosing to, I want to be an engineer, you have to be willing to accept those consequences. and you have to be dedicated to those consequences. So, of course, I'm not going to talk y'all ear off for long, but that's just kind of a little bit of a little push in the right direction to get you going on the summer. You guys are capable of anything. I'm telling you right now. Trust me, if y'all don't know me, I don't lie. You are capable of anything in the entire world, but you have to fight for it. You have to be willing to accept the consequences, and you have to be willing to put in the work. That's the truth. So that's it. I hope y'all have an amazing practice. It was great to see y'all in practice.
Hold on, Coach. Hold on. Anyone have any questions for Coach? Comments, questions, additions?
Man, I know y'all got questions.
She shared a lot of good information, insight, perspective, wisdom, her own experience. Some of you want to get where she's at or in a similar place. It may not be the exact same place, but your journeys will be similar. Questions about her time in high school, anything. There's no right or wrong question here, okay? But it's important for you to take advantage of these opportunities that are presented to you, okay? There are people that are put in your life that can really add value to you, be beneficial to you in learning and growing. So take advantage of it, okay? Any questions?
What made you want to be a chiropractor?
So I am one of those things of me accepting my consequences is every step that I took in order to get to where I wanted to be, because I know I wanted to be a doctor, because it's completely fine to kind of find your way through life. But in terms of me finding my way through life, I always make sure I'm kind of taking a crab step in the right direction. And so when I was doing that, I got a job working as a medical scribe in college, where I worked in the emergency department. So that means I did all the medical documentation for all the doctors and nurses. I ordered prescriptions when people were admitted. I put in those orders. I did all that stuff. So I'm like 19 years old, having these grown doctors like yelling at me, like, you put in the wrong orders, and I was like, I didn't know. And when I was there, as things got a little bit easier, I started looking and taking bits and pieces. Okay, like, what do you want from this for your life? What are you looking for this for your life? Is this sustainable for you? Those questions that I'm constantly asking myself. And one of the things that I noticed personally in my experience was people came in the worst moments all the time, because it's the emergency room. You only come there when it's an emergency. But I also noticed that there was people who they called frequent flyers. So those were people who came like every couple of weeks, every month or so, with kind of the same issue. It was usually a low back pain, it was usually a headache, it was usually a neck pain, something like that, right? I noticed with the emergency people, of course, the doctors were like, this is the plan, this, order this. But with those frequent flyers, they were kind of just like, and so these people were in, like, you could tell they were in just as much pain as the other people, but the doctors were like, I mean, that's not what, I don't know how to help you. And these people were like, well, I've gone to this doctor and this doctor and this doctor, and you just keep giving me pills and it's not working. And they're like, well, I don't know, like, what you want me to say, basically. So they're sending these people home, and they're still in immense pain and not getting the help that they need. And there was one situation where I was actually working at Memorial Hermann, and this lady had came in and she had been in so much pain that she just didn't care anymore. She stopped managing all her other symptoms because she was like, why? And that was something that I think really made me think, like, I don't know if I could look people in their face every day for the rest of my life and say, like, well, what do you want me to say? And so I started doing a little bit more research, a little bit more, like, because I'm one of those people, when I want something, I get obsessed. So I spend all hours Googling. I'm on my phone at 3 o'clock in the morning looking up different things about, oh, what does this do? And what does this say? And how does this work? And I had came across chiropractic. And my mom had actually used a chiropractor a couple times when I was younger. I had went. I thought it was weird. I didn't know anything about it. And I started actually getting further and further and deeper and learning about what chiropractic can do and what chiropractic can offer. And I realized this is everything I've been preaching my entire life about helping people, but you're helping people by giving them the tools and their body the tools to heal itself. That your body is capable of amazing things. It just has to be in the right environment for it to do that. And so I'm also one of those people, when I make a decision, that's it. I'm not listening to nothing else. I'm gone. So I went back to the emergency room, and kind of a backstory is some medical doctors don't really understand all the things chiropractic can offer. And I was sitting in a whole room of doctors who I've been working with for a good while, and I was like, yeah, I think I want to be a chiropractor. And they were like, that's the dumbest thing you could do. They're not real doctors. Why would you waste your time? You're too smart for that. You're too talented for that. That's for people who aren't smart enough. And again, I'm one of those people that's like, I know my goal. I know my dream. I know where I want to take it. I know how I can take it and what I'm capable of. So I said, thank you so much, but it doesn't change what I'm going to do. And so I had actually planned to start in the spring. I had applied in August. They called me later, like after the application, like a week later, and they were like, hey, do you think you could actually start in a month? And I was like, you know what, why not? Today or tomorrow it's gonna happen. So that's how I actually got started. And I just jumped in and did it, graduated with honors, so.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Anything else?
Oh, I got a question, Coach. Who's the best shooter in your family?
Do you have to ask that? Is it not clear from this air ball this guy just did over there? I'm not clear? That not answer y'all's question.
Hey, but who guarded me off the dribble though?
You said who got?
Who guarded me off of the nobody?
But who be cheating though? He always cheating everything. Y'all saw that he cheated everything.
Name one time.
I need at least one person, one of you ladies, to ask a question.
It can be literally anything. You don't have to ask me about life. You don't have to ask me about chiropractic. You can literally ask anything that you want. You like something? What the heck? What the heck? You can literally ask me about anything.
Can I ask a question?
No. Yes. Anybody else? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Nah, because, just hearing you talk, and of course this is my sister, but I'm stepping outside of that role, that brother role. But, just hearing you talk, I can feel a lot of confidence coming from you. And I know that, I was once in high school too, and I was once somebody that had to find my own confidence. What were some ways that you found confidence within yourself just as a person, and then also finding confidence with the things that you want to do?
I think you know best. Part of it is I'm literally naturally like a little bit stubborn, so that probably goes into it because I like to do what I like to do, and it is what it is. Another part of it is I put myself in situations that basically I had no other option to grow. There was a lot of situations because, like growing up, my family was very close knit. We traveled a lot, and so a lot of the times when we moved to a new place every year, we were the only people we knew in the entire place. So I think it took a lot of me making, this is so like corny because people say it all the time, but like the only way to get comfortable is to make yourself uncomfortable. Like I'm sure y'all heard that before. So I believe—
You did that purposely and intentionally?
Yes. Because I personally feel like in order for you to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. Because I think with the monotony of life, it's so easy to go back to what you know and go back to what you're good at. And I think that it's sometimes to challenge yourself is not a bad thing. That like nervousness in your stomach is not always a bad thing. So I think that and seeing myself be in situations that I was uncomfortable with at first or that I didn't think I could do, and then seeing myself like do it and be pretty alright, I think that helped give me like a little bit of comfortableness with yourself. And also, like, I think, like I said, it's okay to kind of fumble through life. It's okay to try different things. And so, like, what you see today is a lot of trial and error. I ain't gonna cap, okay? So I think just kind of giving yourself a chance and giving yourself enough grace to be who you are and not who you, like, feel like you should be expected to be. Because everybody has, like, a beautifulness about their spirit. And so it's just about you being comfortable enough and being, like, okay enough to just be like, sorry, you know? So.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Coach K.
Of course.
Let's give her a big hand. All right, ladies. Well, I hope you appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed that. Let's have that carry over into practice, into our tournament this weekend. There's a lot that hopefully you process going forward in the next couple of days. If you have any questions, if you are embarrassed or uncomfortable in asking a question, if you want to ask her a question, I'm sure she doesn't mind me sending her